Welcome to Complete Guitar Lessons. I'm Brad Allen. I'm a professional musician who's also spent over 10 years teaching private guitar lessons. Now I'm doing my best to pass along all that knowledge to you. Today we're going to be talking about bending on the guitar. And I'm going to show you a very basic method for beginners. Before I get into that, I want to first of all thank all of you who have subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate it. The channel is growing like crazy, which is really exciting for me. And I also encourage you all to subscribe if you haven't already, and please hit the bell to be notified when I release new videos. I'm putting out new videos on a weekly basis and I don't want you to miss any of them. We are going to go to the 9th fret on the guitar, and we're going to go to the minor pentatonic scale, the basic box position. And if you don't know that, I've got a video describing the two most important scales for beginning guitarists. You should watch that so that you're all caught up with this. Okay, so the reason we're starting on the 9th fret is because this is the easiest place on the guitar to learn how to bend. We're going to go to the 3rd string, and if you're in, again, the minor pentatonic basic scale box, I'm going to have my first finger on the 9th fret and my 3rd finger, my ring finger, on the 11th fret. We're going to learn two different bends today. The first is a half step bend, which is an easy bend to do. This is something you should even be able to do on an acoustic guitar. And so a half step is from one fret to the next fret. I can test it like that. And that's a good method for checking your pitch. Play the note, play the target note, to make sure you're hitting the right pitch. Now, there's all kinds of things you can do. You can do a bend and release, which means you're going to bend up to the note and come right back down like this. Or you can leave it up there. Depending on how long you want the note to be, you're going to muffle the string with your other hand using either your right hand or your pick, either one, to stop that ringing like this. So that is a half step bend. Now we're also going to learn a whole step bend. Whole step bend is two half steps. So in this case it would be from the 11th fret up to the 13th. If I do a bend and release, it's going to sound like this. Now, as far as your method of bending here, when I first started learning bending on the guitar, I used only my fingers because it was very difficult for me to use my wrist. It was difficult for me to use my thumb. Everything I had learned up to that point, all the teaching I had gotten at that point, they taught about staying on your fingertips, which is exactly what I teach. It just was easier for me to do on my fingertips. Now, you will find for a half step bend, it's fairly easy to do that with just one finger, especially at that place on the guitar because there's very little tension on the strings there. But when you start doing whole step bends, you'll find that that doesn't work very well. You don't have enough strength in that finger to do that. And so what you want to do is eventually you want to learn to use several fingers on the string. You'll notice in this example here, I'm starting with the ring finger, the finger that's actually doing the bending, which is typical. I mean, that's the most basic bend. That's what most people use. You can bend with the other fingers. We're not going to get into all that today, but this is the most basic one. And basically, you use the other fingers, fingers 1 and 2, to support that bend, to strengthen it. And then also, instead of keeping your thumb in the center of the neck, you move your thumb up to give you more leverage, like this. You'll see most blues players playing with their thumb over the neck a lot like this. And that's why it's easier to bend that way. Basically, you're moving your whole wrist. The bend is pivoting on your first finger, on your index finger here. It's actually laying on the neck, and that gives you more leverage. So if I want to do a whole step bend, again, that's going to be easier. Now, you'll also see videos where they teach bending with vibrato, which is a great technique. I just don't recommend in the beginning you do that because you want to get accurate first bending on the guitar. What I would recommend, again, starting at the 9th fret on the guitar, get good at that, and then maybe move it over 1, do the same thing. Use that to check it. Move it back 1. Basically, this whole area of the neck, practice being able to play those bends accurately in that area of the neck using that 1 string, using the 3rd string. Then you're going to start incorporating that into some of your solos. For example, if I'm playing my pentatonic scale, if I want to start incorporating that particular bend in there, this is a very specific scale degree in that minor pentatonic scale, which is why it sounds good. It sounds good to use either half-step bends or whole step. For instance, if I want to play something like this, so I used a half step there. If you want to use a whole step, basically, you just want to work that into your playing. Now, what's actually happening when I'm playing those solos is my thumb is actually changing positions as I go throughout that scale. I'm keeping it on the back of the neck for most of the notes I play, and when I go to bend, I slide that thumb up ever so slightly and then slide it back down as I go down this scale. So those are the first 2 basic bends I would practice on the guitar on that string. And again, there's all kinds of other things to learn, but master those first before moving along to others. That's all I have for you today, and we will see you next time.